What this is an explanation of my thought process in developing the TCI model. And first thing I wanted to focus on is the outcome in mind. Like, what do teachers in the state of Washington have to accomplish? And so looking at the Danielson framework, which is the most prominent framework tool used by school districts to assess quality instruction, looking at that first, I looked at patterns, and what I found is with the new TCI structure, what you can see is the media-based learning, differentiated instruction, media integration, and advanced technology design. What's really interesting, I'll zoom in here, is that a pattern emerges that between the four domains that Danielson uses, domain 1, 2, 3, and 4, sync up pretty nicely with each one of these four components for TCI. And what I want to do is show you that process. So first off, there's a gentleman that developed a really cool technology component for Danielson. And I am looking at his resources, and what he did is he went through the Danielson model, sorry about my loud mouse, and used different technology components to tie things together. So I'm looking at this model here, and what he's saying is that teachers would use these particular technologies to achieve standard in the Danielson model. Now what I've done is attached to this email a number of documents. One of them is the Danielson framework, and just to show you an example of what one of these looks like is you have the different components, and it's broken down, and then they have a rubric for the four levels. And what my intention was is to look at the language in each one of these levels and pull out the components for developing the rubric for each one of the four units for TCI, for the technology piece. So again, looking at the four components of Danielson, syncing those up with the four components of TCI, looking at similar language in the main document of Danielson. But the intermediary that kind of ties the two together is the document that I've attached both of these. One is teacher technology use integrated for Danielson framework for teaching, and he has another document for the look-fors, like what you would see in an accomplished teacher's classroom. And so this information, he does a nice job of distilling some samples. So I was going to pull some inspiration from this and look for patterns so that the language in the actual paperwork for TCI would speak to this. So look at hints from this language, look at the four components from Danielson, and look for patterns for building the rubric and developing the outcomes. So I would think that these documents would be clearer for the outcomes. So looking as an example for domain 1, planning and preparation, that would be media-based learning, and then focus on media-based learning and look at this particular piece for outcomes. And there's a number of things in here that would work really well, but also the other document that he created here for the media-based learning, you can see a number of things in here that could work really well for that. So that, again, what he did is he went and looked at the Danielson and pulled out how technologies could help teachers meet standard for the Danielson framework. So he kind of did a really nice tie-in with technology, and I just wanted to kind of ride on that process for inspiration and then tie all those pieces together. What I'm doing this year is, let's go here, is doing workshops, and I'm going to be doing 18-ish workshops throughout the year on Mondays for Capitol High School, and I'm focusing on the different Danielson components. And we did one last week, and this is what the outcome is that we focus in on a particular component. In this case, it was using questioning and discussion techniques, looking for technology tools that would be wonderful to use to help accomplish competency in this area. In this case, component 3B. So what I have here is the resources and conversations that we had during that session. And each session is about an hour and a half. So again, I'll be summarizing. Now again, looking back at that list, the goal this year is to demonstrate tools for each one of these sections. And these sections came from a poll we did in the Capitol High School, through the Capitol High School staff, of which technology tools, or which, Danielson components do they feel like they would like to see more examples of how to document accomplishment? And that's the big piece, is what artifacts could they develop to demonstrate that they're proficient or distinguished, and that's 3 and 4 on the scale, in these areas. And so number 1 was using questioning and discussion techniques, again based on this poll. Number 2 was engaging students in learning, and on and on. So what I'm doing this year is working